Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
The summer I turned 16, I got really bored around mid-July. We lived out in the mountains in eastern Washington, lots of woodland. I decided to have an impromptu camping trip and packed a bag, slung my Remington 700 over my shoulder, grabbed a box of ammo and headed out. My parents were pissed when I got back, but that's not really important. Well, I walked from about 11 a.m. to what I guess was around 8 p.m. I've never worn a watch in my life and didn't own a phone, and found a nice little place next to a brook and an alcove I could sleep in. I set up my campsite and began searching for more firewood and getting a better feel for the area while there was still daylight. About 400 yards from my camp, on the other side of a small hill, was an abandoned mine shaft. I had heard that there were loads of these types of places out here, but this was the first time I ever found one. I decided to walk over and have a peek. I took out a pen light and shined it in, seeing a cave-in at the end of the light's range. I thought it would be nice to get a better look tomorrow, so I went back to camp. My tent had collapsed, but I figured it was because I hadn't set it up properly, as I did do it in a hurry. I dug myself a fire pit, lit it, and went to sleep. There was a strange, earthy smell in my tent, like when you pull up really loamy soil, but a bit more metallic. I thought nothing of it. Being in the woods, you expect the smell of dirt. The next day, I walked out of my tent to find that my fire had been demolished, scattered. It looked like someone had come through and stomped and kicked it until there was nothing left. The thing was, I saw no tracks to indicate something was there. I had the eerie sense of being watched, but disregarded it. Who hasn't had that when they were alone in the woods? I also noticed that the strange smell was there too, not just the smell of lingering wood smoke. I pulled the usable coals together and used them to prepare the pit for when I got back, had a breakfast of baked beans, and shouldered my rifle. It was about midday, and I wanted to check out that mine shaft more thoroughly. I hiked to it and pulled some of the boards off the entrance so I could get in and out more easily. I took out my pen light and stepped in. The smell was back, only this time it smelled rotten. It was sickening. Again, I thought nothing of it, assuming an animal had gone in there and died. I clicked on my pen light and shined it around, taking everything in. The cave-in I had noticed before seemed to have shifted, and there was an opening in the rubble big enough for me to go through easily. The chamber I was in had nothing more interesting than half a broken pickaxe and a bent shovel, so I climbed through the hole. The smell got worse. Shining my light directly ahead of me, I saw something disturbing. In the middle of a ring of broken, rusted lanterns was a deer corpse, its bones rearranged into a more humanoid shape, its head propped on a rock. It still had flesh clinging to it, and a big lump of grass on its chest. There were no maggots or other decomposers like you would normally expect. Its empty sockets felt like they were staring into my soul, following me as I walked around the room. I began to turn around to see what was in the far corner of the cave when I heard movement from where the deer was. I noped the fuck out of there faster than I had ever run before. The smell came with me, like it was chasing me all the way to camp. Made my fire and ate again, clutching my rifle like a lifeline until it was time to sleep. That night I fell asleep outside, sitting on a rock by the fire and still holding my rifle. As I woke, I noticed the rotten smell was back. I opened my eyes, and there on the other side of the fire was the deer thing, laying there, staring at me with those empty sockets again. I flipped my shit and dumped my mag into it, working the bolt faster than ever. I was hyperventilating for a good 15 minutes, almost choking on the smell, but at the same time, unable to move or do anything but stare and shake. I got control again, and keeping an eye on the thing, began to pack up my tent. As I was doing this, though, I had to go around to the other side. I lost sight of the thing for no more than 10 seconds, but when I looked back, it was on my side of the fire pit. I lost it again, falling over and planting my back against a tree. I stayed like this for a few minutes, aiming at the thing with my eyes wide. Thinking back, I never did reload the rifle, so it wouldn't have done much good. I calmed down enough to be able to move again and finished packing up the tent. As I turned to leave, I heard it move again. I ran as fast as I could, not looking back. After a few miles, I figured I was safe and turned around. The mine shaft was right there. I had somehow gone in a circle. I never get lost, and haven't since that day. I blinked, and when I opened my eyes, the thing was there, standing in the break I had made in the boards. That's right, standing, bipedal. I screamed, turned, and ran again. I eventually made it home, not getting turned around a second time. That night, I smelled its stench again, and I swear I saw it in my bedroom window. Thankfully, we moved out a few months later. My dad got a new job in California. I don't know what it was, some sort of demon or something, and I haven't seen it again, but I think I will sometime soon. I think it's going to kill me, and there's nothing I can do.
B27. Have sleep paralysis and night terrors since divorce. Be recovering crack, cocaine, heroin addict, so lungs and heart are thoroughly fucked. Weird noises in the house lately. Been sleeping with lamp on lately. Be last night. Wake up in the middle of the night, soaked in sweat and out of breath, not unusual. As soon as eyes open, hear and feel an exhalation right in front of my face. Nope.bmp. Write it off to maybe snoring myself awake or some shit. Go back to sleep. Wake up. Heart racing. Racing too fast. My old mistress, cocaine, has finally come to claim me. Having a heart attack? Seriously think I am dying? Gripped with absolute mortal terror. Can't move or call roommates for help. Slip into unconsciousness. Wake up again, sweating profusely. Heart racing. Really awake this time. What the actual fuck just happened? Don't go back to sleep for fear of dying. I know it sounds kind of weak, but after having 3 years of nightmares and terrifying sleep paralysis, this was the absolute worst experience I have had so far. Might have something to do with my ex-wife accidentally sending me a picture of herself after 3 years of not speaking.
Be about 2 years ago in this stupid apartment I swear was haunted. Roommate moved out, so I finally got the big master bedroom upstairs. Have a huge walk-in the closet about 10 feet by 10 feet. I kept my little bunny in there so she didn't chew up my cords in my room. One night I'm petting her facing away from the double doors. They were the kind that folded in the middle of each door when you opened them. Don't know what that's called. Roommate that shared the upstairs with me came in and opened the doors to see what I was doing. Turned around to say what's up, except room. Mate wasn't there. "Jake!" I yelled, thinking he was just being a douche. "What?" I hear from his room. I get up and go to his room and look, and he's covered up and has his laptop on his chest on his bed. There was no way he got back into that position that fast. Still don't know how both doors swung open as strong and quick as they did. Slept downstairs that night. Another one. Be in the same apartment. Can't remember if it was before or after this incident. It was all pretty close together. Lots of weird shit happened. Girlfriend gets off of work around 8 p.m. every Friday, grabs Subway for us both, then comes over. It's around Halloween time and my roomies and I just decorated the apartment. It looks sick and I want to get everything going before she comes in. She texts me here, which I know it usually takes her a few minutes to grab the food, grab her clothes, and make it into the building. We are one of 2 apartments in the whole building, so the exit door can be heard when opened and closed because it's small. I gotta hurry to get this turned on. Run under the stairs to turn the strobe light on. Girlfriend is at the door, already trying to get in. What the fuck? Didn't even take her 30 seconds and didn't even hear her come in through the outside door. Look up, see the doorknob jingling and the deadbolt, which isn't locked, moving slightly because she's trying to push it open and it's locked. Go to the door and look through the little peephole. She's not there. Nobody is there. Start what the fucking. Take a few steps back. Start trying to figure out what just took place in front of me. Girlfriend can be heard coming into the building. Finally gets up to the door and has no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Noped for a while after that.
Work as a lifeguard at a leisure center. Rumors get thrown about a lot, one of which was about a girl who drowned in the outdoor swimming pool a few decades ago. Outdoor pool was later renovated into a plant room for the indoor pool. The plant room is full of big metal cylinders and pipes and stuff. One night, boss and I are closing up. No one is in the building. We're down in the plant room when we hear the pool alarm go off. The pool alarm is used to alert the receptionists when a lifeguard has entered the water for a rescue. Not the same as fire alarm. But it has to be pressed to go off. Me and my boss look at each other. Both then sprint up to the pool in case someone's actually drowning. Alarm still sounding, blue flashing lights and really loud ringing. We can faintly make out a figure at the bottom of the pool. Shit.xvid. I turn on the pool lights as boss goes into the water to rescue the person. It's a fucking mannequin which we use to practice rescues. The next morning, the manager checked cameras to see if anyone entered or left the building. No one did. I still get chills about it. I have no idea how the mannequin got into the water in the first place. But how did the alarm go off too? The pool alarm is specifically to alert the others that there is a casualty in the water. Erg.
Month-old story here. I haven't posted it before. I'm kind of skeptical and I don't believe in ooga-booga magic stuff, but I don't have any other way to describe what I saw. Also, please excuse my lazy writing. English isn't my first language. Be bored at home in my apartment. About midnight on a Friday or Saturday. Decide to finish a bottle of bourbon that's gathering dust. Get wasted and listen to some good music. Get all worked up and have to leave my apartment and go running. Live in a rural area, so there is not much to do or see. But there are some woods just behind my apartment where underage kids go to drink sometimes. Decide to run there to see if something is going on. Get lost a bit and stumble around the woods for a bit. See what looks like a person in the distance. Get closer and see it's a girl about 16 years old. She looks dirty and sick and appears to be crying. When I approach, I ask her if she needs help, but she doesn't notice me at all. Then in the blink of an eye, she's gone, just disappeared, just vanished. Wasn't sure what happened. I thought maybe I closed my eyes for a while and she ran away. But it didn't feel that way. Sit down on a rock and look around. Can't see anyone else, but it feels but doesn't sound like there are whispers all around me. Nothing happens for another 10 minutes or so, so I go home and sleep. A few days later, tell my friend about it and he goes all pale and just says, "I need to show you something." He leads me out in the woods. He doesn't tell me where he's taken me, but somehow he leads me out exactly where I was the week before. I ask him how he knew where I saw the girl and he just pointed to the rock I sat on. It has inscriptions carved into it. Something for the victims of the cholera epidemic of 1860-something. I was standing in the middle of a mass grave with over 300 people in it. Did I just see a fucking ghost? That place is just 500 yards from my home.
I lived in a haunted college town. The older dorms were haunted, The cemeteries were haunted. Even my old apartment was haunted. While living at my last apartment, I had lights blow out and shit fly off my TV shelf. This was witnessed and verified by myself and my friends. The lamps in the back sunroom started blowing out. Then studio lights over where I slept started blowing out. Then the kitchen, then the corners of the room. One night I realized I had not replaced the ones near my bed. My friend was visiting that afternoon, and I shared the odd experience with the lights with him. The light over his head starts flickering as I am talking. It is pulsating. He comes out of the shitter and notices it. He has to leave, and I get this weird panicked feeling. This sudden feeling of dread overcomes me. I will not survive this night if I don't get some light in here. This has never happened to me before or since. I nope my way to the corner store and get more bulbs, come back to the apartment and realize the fucking light blew out. For the rest of that night, that place was lit like a Christmas tree.
Be about 16 at the time. Long story short, redneck kid, mom moved up to the city when I was about 13. Thought it would be cute to take my girlfriend down to my grandmother's house for a weekend in the middle of nowhere, Georgia. We were out driving through the woods one night, enjoying each other. Had my truck turned off, we are talking, laughing. Suddenly, I just don't feel right. As she is talking, I stick my head out the window, and I notice I don't hear any wildlife. Get that being watched or hunted feeling. My girlfriend never really lived in the country before. She doesn't know what silence in nature means. I don't want to spook her, so I just act as casual as I can while speedily starting my truck. Tell her I need something at the house, getting ready to step on the gas, but then realize my lights aren't on. Pull the little knob to turn on front and back lights. I look in my rearview mirror, see eyes illuminated right at my level by my taillights. I drive a 1995 F-150 XLT, not lifted but still tall. At my eye level at this point, probably a little under 6 feet. Slam that thing into drive and go. Back tires spin on takeoff, making dirt and dust fly in the air. Can't see anything at this point, one hand on the wheel, other leaning back, grabbing the .30-40 on the floorboard. Screaming at my girlfriend to open the glove box and give me my ammo. At this point, she is startled. Grab it myself, get back on the main road, just tell my girlfriend I saw a bear, and that's why I was flipping out. Get back to my grandmother's house, running in with the rifle. I forgot how I explained that to my girlfriend at the time. Grandma asks me what's wrong. Tell her I saw something out on the back trail. She nods her head, goes in the back and loads a 12 gauge, walks back to the living room, leans it next to her recliner and goes back to watching her television. Not another word was exchanged about this.
Stay at a hotel with friends for a convention. We decide to tell shitty, scary stories until we fall asleep. I decide to tell a story from a manga called Fuan no Tain, in which a baby can be seen by nurses there, walking around with a really fucked up jaw, asking to be picked up, promising it won't bite. The nurses all have an unspoken rule that they should all ignore the baby. Friend is legitimately scared. Starts saying he can't sleep because of it, because he's sleeping on the floor. We all sleep. Wake up around 3 a.m., scared friend is sleep-talking. He says shit like, dude, just ignore it. Don't look at it. I try to wake my other friend up without making noise so we can record this scared fucker and have some laughs. My other friend doesn't wake up, instead whispers, I know, God damn it. When is it going to leave? Suddenly I'm nervous, was sitting down, and immediately laid back down with bed covers around me. They could have been playing a prank, but it's not like them to do that. They woke up well rested and I told them about it the following night. They said they didn't have any dreams, and they thought I was making shit up again to scare them.
I'm not really good at telling stories, but I'll tell you what happened to me while walking my Mastiff a few years ago, while I was living in the US with my then girlfriend. It's early spring, it's just starting to warm up, and the weather's finally nice enough to spend some time out in the wilderness. Being from a fairly rural part of the UK originally, I've always loved spending my time outdoors. The girlfriend's working this weekend, so it's just me and the dog. We get in the car and drive for around an hour and a half till we finally get to the national park area. The goal is hopefully to spend the day out exploring and maybe see some wildlife. I'll skip the boring bits, since nobody really wants to read about me walking my dog around. But we'd been out there around 4 hours and we'd covered quite some distance, but I'm confident in my ability to find my way back. We're walking through a rocky area, and to one side of the path, there are some moderately high shrubs. My dog's gaze suddenly fixes on the shrubs. He stops dead, faces them directly, and starts growling. Now, this is not his usual behavior. He's around 220 pounds, but extremely placid and generally has no prey drive. And I'd never heard him growl like that before or since. He's not on a lead, but he's not charging into the shrubs either. He's just standing his ground, all 4 paws planted. His hackles are up too. I remember that because I'd never seen it happen to him before. I slowly walk over to him, keeping my eyes fixed on the shrubs as I reach him. I place my hand on his collar. As I do this, a mountain lion darts across the path from roughly the area my dog had been fixated on. It doesn't pay even a moment's attention to us, like we're not even there. I watch it as it runs for a moment. Then, as the shock subsides, I notice the dog is still fixated on the bushes, still growling, still in full alert mode. I'm pretty nervous at this point. I place my hand on my dog's collar, tugging and half whispering his name. He doesn't look around, but I slowly start to back up while holding on to him. He doesn't once take his eyes off the bushes. He's completely locked on to something in there. I'm convinced of it. Something that scared the shit out of a mountain lion. We back up for around 300 yards before the dog will turn around and take his eyes off the bushes. We nope our way back to the car. The distance we'd covered in 4 hours we cover in not more than 2 on the return. I'm constantly checking behind me the whole way. The dog is still obviously nervous too. Every little sound we hear brings him to a halt, and his ears prick up for a moment before he'll continue on his way. I didn't see a fucking thing, but my dog seemed convinced there was still something dangerous there. What in Colorado could have scared the shit out of a mountain lion like that? The only thing I could think of was a bear. But would a bear even approach a mountain lion? I'd imagine they'd keep their distances from each other.
B12. Mom died when I was 10. Sitting alone at home, it's pretty late and my dad wasn't back yet. Hear the back door open downstairs. Rush downstairs to see my dad. He's not there. Nobody is there. Turn around and I see my mom in the doorway. Mind goes completely blank and I act casually like the memory of her death was completely erased from my mind. "What are you doing here?" She doesn't answer. "Mom, are you all right?" She answers with a smile on her face. "Yes, honey." It suddenly hits me like a truck and tears start streaming down my face. Remember, she's dead and I feel like my heart just stopped. I don't blink. I don't even feel sad yet. I'm a fountain of tears. "You died. is all I can muster the courage to say. Suddenly, vision is becoming blurry because of the tears, and I blink. She's gone, and all I can see when I close my eyes is an image of her standing there, smiling at me, scarred into my mind. More sad than nope, but felt like sharing.
Be 1/4 Native American, Sioux. Always had a natural feeling of home in the woods. One day, hiking through the woods, some guys being dicks to this decent-looking Native American girl about my age. Ask her if she's all right. Guys basically tell me to fuck off. Long story short, pulled my concealed carry on them and got her safely away from them. Walk her back to the reservation side of the trails. She wants to thank me by having her father do some blessing. Turns out her father is also Sioux, as is she. Apparently her father was blessed at a young age by an elderly holy man, and apparently now he's some type of holy man. Skipping the boring bits, short ceremony, get some blessing. Her father pulls me aside and basically tells me the spirit of the Sioux people will be like a guardian. About a month later, I go on a hunt in northern Montana with a good buddy. Sitting in a ground blind back against an outcropping, radio check with buddy every half hour. Grizzly sneaks up around the side of the outcropping. I basically do not see him until he's 5 feet from me. 45-70 is in my hands, but I am frozen. Not sure if he sees me, but he is staring me down. Then he stands up but immediately starts to whimper and whine and then runs away, fast-like. So naturally I am thinking there is a bigger bear near here. I look around and see someone walking away. Think it's my buddy, so I stand up and whistle. The man turns to me and I can see now his jet black hair and mud painted on his face. He is holding a staff. He says something to me, but I cannot hear him. Then he was gone. Bug out to camp and drink coffee because I don't know what I saw. A day later, remember the blessing. Go see the holy man. He has a picture of the man I saw above his fireplace. It was his great-grandfather. Thank Mother Earth every time I kill something now.
Not paranormal, I was just having some issues, I guess. 16. Bullied really hard in school, beaten up by these girls. They beat me up pretty often, hate them. One day before classes start, I see them coming towards me. I crawl under the bleachers to hide, too early in the day to get my butt kicked. There is a girl under there with me, kind of afraid of her. She looks nice enough, but what are the odds someone was hiding there already? Says she is new and school was overwhelming. I explain quickly I won't bother her and just need to hide from some girls. Just go out there and kick their asses. No thanks. We sit under the bleachers in silence for a while. She's picking at her shoes. I start trying to make conversation. She is kind of funny. We decide to skip classes and hang out there. We even take a nap in the middle of the day. By the end of the day, we're friends. Invite her to my house. We're walking home from school. Bullies happened to be coming out of a gas station as we walked by. They beeline to us, start in on me. Friend is getting pretty awkward. They're not giving her shit though, just me. I give them some money I had to leave me alone. Suddenly, friend hits one with a broom handle from the dumpster. The other two try to stop her. She fights really dirty, eye pokes and kicks, still hitting them with the broom handle. The girl is yelling for me to help. No way. Friend throws the broomstick back in the dumpster. I grab my money back. We take off running to my house, telling her it was a bad idea. They were going to hurt you though. Run to my house, straight upstairs to my room. We're both pretty scared. Hear a car pull up. It's the police. Oh, fuck. Hear Dad talking to them downstairs. We crawl under the bed to hide. Dad comes up the stairs with 2 policemen. He pulls me out from under the bed, didn't know friend was there, sits me down and tells me that the police said I assaulted the girls. Tell them that's not what happened. Well, what did happen? Didn't want to rat out my friend, but I was scared. Tell them the truth. What girl? Realize I don't know her name. Well, she is hiding under the bed too. He looks, no one there. I freak completely out. Where did she go? Found out the next day there wasn't a girl with me. I hit those girls with the broomstick. The security camera caught me doing it, no one with me. I even kept looking over like there was someone there. I always have this weird fear in the back of my mind that people I know in my day-to-day life aren't real now. Oh, and the police decided it was self-defense given their history of beating me up and stuff, and my behavior before I started hitting them.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.